Quarter 2, Module 22, Unifying Themes in the Study of Life. So, the parts written in our modules are the following. What I need to know, what I know. So, what I know ay multiple choice, then what's in. Sa part ng what's in, andun yung definition ng biology, which is the discipline of science that deals with the study of life. So, when we say biology, it covers the botany, which is for the plants, zoology for the animals, and lahat ng pag-aaral ukol sa living things. So, this comprises number of disciplines such as biochemistry, ecology, botany, zoology, and the like. Now, as a wide-ranging and complex science, biologists designed the term unifying themes, which serves as the basis for the study of life. So, for the activity 1, decode, arrange, and describe. So, ipapattern nyo daw ito sa letters of the alphabet. And then, you are going to reveal the words. So, tapos na natin to, pero hindi pa na-check ni ma'am. And then, what's new? Name it. May mga terminologies dito. So, yun yung hahanapin nyo or papangalanan nyo. So, some terms here, biological system, cell, interaction with the environment, energy and life, form and function, reproduction, inheritance, regulation, adaptation, evolution, biology, and society. Dito tayo so activity 3 match it, kailangan nyo din yung sagutan. And then for the what is it, listed here are shared properties of living organisms that make something alive. Let's start with the first one. All levels of life have systems of related parts. Again, all levels of life have systems of related parts. A system is an organized group of interacting parts. When we say system, kung kunyari sa katawan ng tao, mag-umpisa tayo sa cell. And then, cell with the same functions that works together will form tissues. Then, tissues with the same functions that works together will form organs. Then, organs that works together will form the body system. And the connection of the body system ay yung ating katawan. Pwede rin sa animals. So, that is the system. Now, a cell is a system of chemicals and processes. It is the basic unit of life. Now, a body system includes all the organs that interact. When we say body system, digestive, reproductive system, respiratory, urinary, name it. Kunyari sa ulo, nervous. Kunyari sa tiyan, sa bituka, digestive. So, the function is for the digestion of food. Kunyari sa puso, circulatory. Anong kasama sa circulatory? Heart, blood, and blood vessels. Kunyari naman, in perpetuation of or in reproduction of new offspring. So, from the word itself, reproductive system. So, the only body system that makes the man and woman differs kasi magkaiba yung function ng male. Ang function is to reproduce pero yung meron silang opposite types of cell, which is the egg cell and the sperm cell, the male and the female reproductive system. Next, an ecosystem includes living and non-living things that interact. So, also katulad ng body system, ang ecosystem ay meron ding binubuo din ng living and non-living things that interact. So, you can name different living things and non-living things that interact in an ecosystem. Give me an example of a small type of ecosystem and list down the living and the non-living things that interact. Pwedeng mag-picture kayo dyan sa paligid nyo at pangalanan nyo kung ano dun ang living at kung ano ang non-living things that interact. Structure and functions are related in biology. Again, structure and functions are related in biology. So, the structure determines function. The structure is the shape of the object, and the function is the object's specific role. Again, structure and functions are related in biology. Di ba yung sa cell magkakatulad ang itsura, may mahalagang function yung structure. Same with the biochem. Yung mga chemical structure ay mahalaga to determine what types of chemicals is what type of chemicals is the one being shown in the picture. So again, structure determines the function. When we say structure, it is the shape of the object. When we say function, it is the object's specific role. Organisms must maintain homeostasis to survive in diverse environment. When we say homeostasis, the balance, the maintenance of constant internal condition. Kung bakit nababalanse natin yung katawan natin, nakikip natin siya kahit sobrang init, nag-stay pa rin yung body natin ng konting lamig to balance with the outside. And then kung sobrang lamig sa labas, yung body naman natin magre-release yan ng init to balance the conditions outside. So that is the term homeostasis, the maintenance of constant internal conditions, balance. All living organisms must live in a stable environment. Lahat tayo. We must live in a stable environment. Kaya naman, kapag hindi na stable yung environment, dun papasok naman yung homeostasis natin sa katawan. So, nasusurvive natin yun dahil kaya ng katawan natin to maintain the balance. Evolution explains the unity and diversity of life. When we say evolution, it is the change in living things over time. The genetic makeup of a population of a species changes. It accounts for both the diversity and the unity of life. So, malawak na discussion yung evolution. Pero it explains the unity and diversity of life kasi makikita natin yung pattern kung bakit kamukha ng butike yung malaking buhaya. So, what's the connection of the two? Parang ganon. So, malawak siya. So, isa siyang lesson na ating pang tutukuyin. Pero, interesting. Next, traits are being inherited and transferred. Ito malinaw sa atin to, madaling maintindihan. Traits are being inherited and transferred. It is under another branch of biology, which is the genetics. When we say traits are being inherited and transferred, the continuity of life depends on the inheritance of biological information in the form of DNA. Now, what is DNA? Deoxyribonucleic acid. It contains the chemical form or the chemicals na nagdadala ng ating traits coming from both paternal and maternal side. The genetic information is encoded in the nucleotide sequences of the DNA. Now, organisms reproduce. Another properties that make something alive. Organisms reproduce. It is necessary part of living. Process of making more of one's own kind. So, no question for that. Organisms in all forms can reproduce and must reproduce. That is necessary part of living para sa continuation ng life. Organisms are interdependent with one another. Organisms have evolved to live and interact with other organisms. Ecology deals with the interactions of living organisms with one another and their environment. When we say organisms are interdependent with one another, lahat ng function natin are connected. Let's say sa gaseous exchange, we exhale carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is a raw material in the process of photosynthesis, wherein the photosynthesis is the food making process in plants. So, carbon dioxide plus water plus the sunlight, it will form a sugar or in a glucose form. And the byproduct is oxygen, where in return, the oxygen is the one we needed to breathe in. So, one, interdependent or interconnection example yon. Iba pa, yung mga bagay sa food chain, let's say, may interconnection din yon. So, let's say, hindi ako kumakain ng gulay, pero lahat ng kinakain mong meat products ay kumakain ng gulay. So, you have still connection with vegetables and plants kasi yung sa hierarchy, sa food pyramid, yung percentage lang ng nai-intake mo from plants ang nababawasan, pero still nandun pa rin yung nutrients coming from the plants. So, another example, yon. Marami pang interconnection ang bawat organisms. Those organisms are interdependent with one another. Bukod pang bagay, yung pag-uusap natin about, let's say, mutualism, commensalism, remember those terms? Competition, predation, yun naman ay connection of organisms with one another. Let's say, herbivores, kumakain ng, o let's say, ang pagtitignan natin, ang connection ay worms and chicken. So, predation kasi kakainin nung chicken yung worm. Diba? Ganun yun. The predator, yung kakain, the prey, yung kinakain. When we say competition, let's say, isang plat ng halaman, ang dami mong tanim, iba't ibang klase. So, those varieties of plants compete for one source of nutrients. That is competition. When we say mutualism, both organisms are benefited. So, that is another connection between organisms. Let's say, yung anong tawag natin dito, yung tagak sa ibabaw ng kalabaw, kukunin yung mga dumi o yung mga kuto-kuto nung kakainin, malilinis yung balat nung kalabaw, and then yung tagak ay mabubusog. Correct me if I'm wrong, yung basta yung nasa ibabaw ng kalabaw, kulay white. So, that is mutualism. Andun ako sa organisms are interdependent with one another. I am trying to show you some example or to explain some example of the situation showing interdependency with one another or connection with one another. Next, organisms acquire and process energy. Now, living organisms use the source of energy for their metabolic activities. Some living organisms capture the light energy and convert it into chemical energy in food. Some living organisms use chemical energy stored in molecules obtained from food. Ito yung sa binigay kong example kanina ay yung sa food pyramid, sa food chain, starting from the plant. Diba? Yung energy na nakukuha ng plants from the sunlight ay mataas. So, kung ikaw ay herbivores, mataas din yung makukuha mo. Pero kung ikaw ay carnivores, pabawas na yung makukuha mo kasi dumaan na siya sa isa pang body ng organism. By percentage, mababawasan yon. Pero lahat tayo ay we use a source of energy for our metabolic activities. Pwede rin namang source of energy ang ating mga foods na kinakain. Next, in addition to the properties mentioned, the two additional unifying themes in the study of life includes the scientific inquiry, science, technology, and society. When we say scientific inquiry, the process of science includes observation-based discovery and testing of explanations through the hypothetic deductive. Scientific credibility depends on the repeatability of observation and experiments. Ito mahilig sa science. You are curious. You are doing your simple observation-based discovery and hindi siya natatapos ng isang test lang. It is continuous at the more na nagre-repeat yung observation, the more na nagiging valid yung means of following the scientific method. Science, technology, and society. Many technologies are goal-oriented applications of science. The relationships of science and technology to society are now more crucial to understand than ever before. Again, many technologies are goal-oriented applications of science. The relationships of science and technology to society are now more crucial to understand than ever before. So, connection na to kasi marami na tayong ginagamit at marami na tayong knowledge na and application in science. For the activity 4, characteristics of life, sasagutin nyo yung mga questions na katapat ng characteristics of life. Let's say, displays organization, no question. What is the level of organization of living organisms? Nabanggit ko ito. Pero, since late na akong nag-discuss, so, you can review the discussions we had kung saan ito papasok. Again, for what's more, connect me, mga terminologies ulit, you will show the connections of the given biotic and abiotic factors, the living and the non-living. Then, what's the connection, growth and development, and the continuity of life? So, for the what I have learned, nag-define ng biology. What is biology? It's a study of life. And then, yung unifying themes connect the different sub-disciplines that make up biology as a science. Then, number 3, the unifying themes in biology comprise the cell theory as a description of living systems, continuity of life, interdependence of function, and structure. Next, unity of living systems and the properties that arise from the organization. Hindi ko na siya babasahin ng buo. Yung what I have learned, basta inisa-isa doon, yung mga na-discuss natin. Kunyari, cell is the basic unit of life, and then, yung organization of life, cell, tissues, organs, and organ system, and body. Then, yung continuity of life, the DNA holds the traits that has been transferred from the parent down to offspring, and then the heredity, or the inheritance of trait from parents to offspring. The discussion about evolution, the evolutionary change gave rise to diversity of life. Nagbigay siya ng malawak na pagbabago sa buhay. And then, biotic, living organisms, abiotic, non-living organisms. And then, yung biotic factors are defined by a set of characteristics. What are those characteristics that defines biotic factors? It includes ability to reproduce, to grow, to move, and the ability to adapt to its environment. They need food, water, and other abiotic factors for their growth and development. While abiotic, it includes rocks, water, weather, and other living things present in the environment. Then, biological systems are organized. And then, the importance of biology as science, it enables us to make appropriate decisions in life. Failure to grasp biological concept lead into an inappropriate decision. Why? Kasi, katawan na lang natin, it needs the knowledge of biology. So, kung masama yung pakiramdam mo, dapat basically alam mo anong part ng katawan mo yung masakit. Anong pwedeng posibleng dahilan. So, kung hindi ka mahilig magbasa or makinig ng discussion relating to biology, body, specifically body, hindi mo maiintindihan. And then, pwede rin naman sa plants, mahilig ka maghalaman. So, dahil basta ka lang nagtatanim, hindi mo kino-consider yung panahon, kung ano yung pwedeng tumubo at hindi tumubo, or anong klase ng soil yung meron sa inyo, it will lead you into an inappropriate decision. Pwedeng malugi ka because of the lack of knowledge about plant and farming. So, sinasabi dito na hindi dapat nawawala yung interest mo sa biology in all aspects, plants and animals. Dahil ito ay isa sa science na kailangan natin to make our decision always or almost correct. Kasi anyway, accept it or not, life depends on sciences. One must value life by taking good care of all beings, humans, plants, and animals. So, for this, ito na yung ating, ito yung first module in Earth and Life na hindi ko, na-discuss na una ko kasi yung module 22. Thank you, and mamaya isa pa uling voice recorded lesson. Reflections must be submitted in our GC.